Tigers baseball on Fox Sports Detroit is presented by Bell Tire. It is an absolutely perfect day for baseball here in the Pacific Northwest on a warm, sunny afternoon. We welcome you to Safeco Field. Today it's the final game of this three-game series featuring the Detroit Tigers and the Seattle Mariners. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to Tigers Baseball. Mario and Pemba alongside Jack Morris. Glad to have you with us here for Tigers Baseball. Tigers took it on the chin last night. It took a while to play that game, but in the end, Jack, this is the great thing about baseball. You come back the very next day, another opportunity for the Tigers to shake it off.
Yeah, you put that one behind you quickly because it's a short night. Back at the ballpark today, the Tigers have a chance to win the series, and that would be a plus because it's hard to lose games like they lost last night.
All right, now the offense certainly has not been an issue in the first two games of the series. 28 hits, so they certainly have been clicking.
No question about it, and they're doing what they're meant to do, especially with the absence of Miguel Cabrera. The guys have really put on their hitting shoes. Nick Castellanos has been in the act. Of course, Victor, since coming off the DL, he has really done a great job. JD just continues to hit the ball. So overall, the offense has really done their part in trying to help the Tigers win.
And hopefully the offense will continue to click here this afternoon as the Tigers square off against the Seattle pitching staff, which by and large has been pretty good. Now the Tiger starters, in contrast, over the last 12, they have really struggled.
They really have, and they're going to have to really depend on Anibal Sanchez to go deeper after almost everybody in the bullpen was used last night. But you can see starters only have 3 wins in their last 12 starts. More hits, way more hits than innings pitched. So they're going to have to do a better job overall if the Tigers are going to get back into this race.
All right, let's talk about Anibal Sanchez. The last time we saw him, he brought a no-hitter into the 8th inning against the Blue Jays. They'll need more of the same today.
Well, they need him to go deep, that's for sure. And Anibal has pitched very well his last few starts. Last time out, he almost had the no-no into the 8th inning. It kind of all fell apart in a hurry for him, and the end result wasn't all that great, but he did get the win.
All right, after a short break, we'll send you back to the Coliseum Studios. Check in with Justin White coming up in this one. Yoenis Cespedes is homer in the first 2 games of the series. Time to vote yo. Really, we mean it. Go vote yo. Tigers ends next. Your expectations of what a bank can be when it's time. Come to Comerica. Jeep, find your summer of adventure with great deals at the Jeep Summer Clearance Event. And by Stacy's Chips. That's the Stacy's way, and we're not messing with it. Back here in Seattle as we get you ready for baseball here today. The Tigers and the Seattle Mariners at Safeco Field, where the Tigers are trying to win 2 out of 3 in this series on a gorgeous afternoon for baseball. Here is the starting lineup for the Tigers today, presented by the Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. It'll be Rajai Davis leading it off. He'll play in center field today. Cespedes batting second. Victor Martinez hitting third. What a series he has had. JD in right field. Castellanos is batting fifth today. McCann, Marte, Romine, and Iglesias rounded out for Brad Ausmus this afternoon. And they are facing the left-hander Jay Happ.
Jay Happ coming over from Toronto. He's making his 17th start of the season. Won his last outing after 4 consecutive losses. The Mariners ended up beating Oakland. So Jay Happ, he's a veteran left-hander, pretty much fastball, breaking ball. And let's take a look at the Mariners starting defense. That's brought to you by Tim Hortons. A few changes. Dustin Ackley out in left, Austin Jackson in center, Seth Smith back in right field, Brad Miller at short, Cano at second. Mark Trumbo is going to stick around and play first base today. And Jesus Sucre is playing or catching. And it'll be Jay Happ on the mound.
Well, it is a stunning afternoon here in Seattle, and Rajai Davis will get a chance to get a start here this afternoon playing for Anthony Gose. It'll be Davis, Cespedes, and Martinez facing the left-hander Jay Happ. Rajai at 275 is hit safely in 10 of his last 12. Tigers offense booming in the first 2 games. They have hit 8 home runs. And the first pitch of today's ball game is a strike called on Rajai Davis. A couple of home runs this year, 12 RBIs for Rajai. Here's the 0-1, and it's a bit high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jay Happ, the left-hander, is 32 years old, out of Peru, Illinois. Sliced foul back out of play, 1-2.
Yeah, crafty left-hander. He attended Northwestern University. Originally signed by the Phillies.
Northwestern, huh?
You ever heard of it?
I have heard of it.
Somewhere in that town called Chicago.
Yeah, pretty good academics. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Jay will throw a lot of high fastballs. He used to be up even higher in his delivery. Big, tall guy, 6'5".
And he just missed there, so the count now will fill 3-2.
These 2 guys, Rajai and Jay Happ, were teammates a couple years ago with the Blue Jays.
There's Cespedes waiting on deck for the Tigers. Here's the 3-2 offering. Rajai hits it in the air to center. Playable for Jackson, and that's how we begin this one today. 1 gone. Here is Cespedes, who is making a late push heading into the All-Star break to win that fan vote. And here's why.
Yeah, especially doubles there. He's 3rd in the league, and he's on a pace to blow away his personal record for doubles. He's had a great series here in Seattle.
Voting ends on the Friday at 4 p.m. And Cespedes trying to make it 5 Tigers to go to the All-Star game. And Yoenis looks at ball 1. He crushed a ball last night in a 1-run game in the 8th inning to tie it up. It was his 12th home run of the year. Cespedes has had a ton of extra base hits overall. And since being inserted into the 2 spot in the lineup, he's done awfully well. They play him to pull. And he pulls it on the ground to 3rd, where Seager is waiting. 2 up, 2 down. That'll bring up Victor Martinez. Victor has hit safely in his last 5. The average now is up to 267.
Seems to be creeping up every day. Victor really is swinging the bat well from both sides. he has had a very good series here in Toronto, or excuse me, Seattle.
Yeah, no doubt. Victor, in fact, 6 for 10 in this series. And when he came off the disabled list, his average was in the 220 range.
That's a lot of hits to get it all the way up to 260, almost 270.
That'll back him out of there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Victor, since coming off the disabled list, is hitting at a 342 clip. That's why his average has jumped up. A little bit outside, 2 balls, 1 strike. Jay Happ had a stretch of 9 starts without a victory before he beat Oakland in his last start. And Victor looks at a ball outside, 3-1.
In his career, Jay Happ has been one of those guys that seems to always have pitch count come into play. He's never really gone into the 8th inning very often. Once in a while he'll go into the 7th, but it's not unusual for him to pitch 6.5 innings or so.
3-2 on Martinez. Well, when you look at the numbers on Happ, and you're right, Jack, he's usually around 5-6 innings, maybe into the 7th occasionally, and he'll give up between 3 and 4 runs, which is a decent start every time out. He's got a full count here with 2 outs on Victor Martinez.
We really haven't seen any great pitching performance out of starters here in this series. Annabelle has pitched well. Jay Happ won his last game, so maybe today's game will be a little bit different.
He'll go foul again. So Victor battles as he normally does. Happ got the first 2 batters, a fly ball and a ground out. Martinez batting in the 3 slot in the absence of Miguel Cabrera. Slow roller towards short. Miller has plenty of time. And Martinez is out to retire the side. Tigers go in order. Jackson getting set to lead things off for Seattle. Here is their starting lineup today, presented by the Metro Detroit Chevy dealers. It'll be Jackson, Seager, and Cano. Top 3 spots. Cano had a big night last night with a walk-off. Cruz, the DH, then Smith and Wright. Trumbo, the first baseman. Ackley, Miller, and Sucre rounding it out. And they are facing Anibal Sanchez, who is presented today by Family Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Annabelle making his 18th start for the Tigers. He's won 4 straight. Took a no-hitter into the 8th inning his last time out. Beat the Blue Jays.
And Jackson will start things off here for Seattle. Jackson, big night last night in terms of one really big hit that he had, the grand slam home run. Tigers raced out to a 3-0 lead. Then Jackson hit the slam. Sanchez with the 1-1. Jackson overall 2 out of 8 in the series. Spent 4.5 years in a Tigers uniform before he was dealt midway through the season last year at the All-Star break, or the trading deadline shortly after the break. There's a ball high. 2-2.
Anibal Sanchez is a guy that kind of likes to show the fastball. A lot of times he'll throw that around the perimeter of the strike zone, and then he likes to get you out with a changeup.
Got him. Strike 3.
Good pitch.
Fastball that time to get him.
Let's take a look at the last pitch from Anibal. See that McCann's sitting outside, and he just drilled that glove. Great location. And let's take a look at the Tigers starting defense. It's presented by Bill Fox Chevrolet. And we're going to wait until we see this out first.
Hopefully an out as Kyle Seager steps in. Batting .252 with 12 home runs this year. Seager back in the 2 spot. Looks at one just a tad low. Tigers have handled him pretty well. Seager, he's just 1 for 9 in the series. That missed the outside corner.
We talked about the importance of Anibal Sanchez pitching deep into this game. With the Tiger loss last night in 11 innings, the bullpen was really used. The only guys not used were Jeff Farrell and Joakim Soria. So he needs to get deep into this game.
Yeah, and after the ball game last night, Kyle Ryan was optioned out, and Buck Farmer recalled from AAA Toledo. So he would be available to pitch out of the bullpen today. Tigers got into a bad spot yesterday, not only because of the extra inning game, but because Kyle Ryan was bounced early. And they had to go to that bullpen early in the game last night.
And they did at that. Alex Wilson pitched 2 1/3 innings. He's kind of used up for today. Al Albuquerque was stretched out to 2 innings. So everybody was used out there. Even Soria was up 2 or 3 times.
Right. 2-2 on Kyle Seager. Now a little game of cat and mouse here. Sanchez taking too long. Seager steps out again. Fouled away. Alex Avila getting the day off today. Much needed day off for Avila. McCann behind the dish. Avila coming off the disabled list with the knee injury. Had a couple of games at first, a couple of starts behind the dish. The extra inning game last night. Just a chill day for Avila today. High fly ball right field. JD under it. 2 gone.
All right, now let's take a look at the Tigers defense. A few changes. Brad Ausmus giving Kinsler the day off. Romine playing second base. Rajai Davis out in center field, and then Jeffrey Marte getting a chance to play first base, like you just mentioned. James McCann giving Avila the day off behind the plate.
So we'll take a look at Marte at first base in this game for the first time. Tigers still trying to rotate through without Cabrera. Here's Robinson Cano. He ended the ball game last night in the 11th with an RBI hit. And he's starting to look like the Robinson Cano that we're used to seeing. Swinging the bat a whole lot better here in the month of July. Cano lifts one in the air to shallow center field. Davis will not get there. It's going to drop in. 2-out broken bat single for Cano.
Rajai just sort of realizing that he's not going to get to that ball. It wasn't a huge effort. Of course, he's going to have to see Cespedes back him up if he's going to make an attempt to dive for that ball, but it drops in front of him, and Cano continues to get his hits.
I think Rajai had trouble picking that ball up.
There's a chance.
Well, here is Nelson Cruz. Tigers have struck him out 5 times in this series. Cruz 2 for 8. Bouncing ball to short. And Iglesias bobbles it. Oh, my goodness. As routine as they come for Jose Iglesias.
Well, he's a guy with pretty good hands. You don't see that very often, but just a mental lapse.
The thing about Iglesias is he makes the spectacular play, but he also makes the routine play. And that look on the face of Brad Ausmus is pretty much saying it all. I'm stunned at that.
Well, he just, let's face it, you don't want to accept that. That's not good enough. Those are balls that you've got to make outs into. Pitcher does his job. It's not a hard hit ball, but it happens.
Smith looks at strike one. So the inning extends now for Sanchez.
Yeah, that error, what happens is it extends the pitcher's inning. His pitch count gets up, and it's a game where the Tigers just need the starting pitcher, Sanchez, to go deep. So these extra pitches, not a good situation.
Smith at 261 has hit safely in his last 5. Missed it up high. They want the appeal. Did not go, says Kerwin Dantley. 1 ball, 1 strike on Seth Smith. 2-out single and then an error by Iglesias. Smith fouls it back. 1-2 the count. Smith in the series, couple of hits and 4 at bats. He has scored a couple of runs. They picked him up from San Diego in the offseason. Brandon Maurer, a pitcher, went the other way. Smith, really wherever he's been a solid major league hitter. Two and two.
Again, Anibal showing that fastball, this time in. Trying to maybe move Seth Smith's feet a little bit. We'll see what he does now. Count even. So he wants to go back in.
Little pop up. And Iglesias will get back there to short center to make the play. No runs, a hit, an error, and 2 men left.
right here. Jose Iglesias catches the ball to end the inning, and he's wearing those really cool sunglasses on top of his hat, and it's a sunny day. Let's put them on. Let's wear them. That's what they're there for.
Well, fortunately, that ball didn't drop in.
He caught it.
He did catch it.
But it gives us something to talk about.
Sure, it does make you
remind all the young kids that you got cool breezeful glasses. Let's wear them. Sunny day. Otherwise, just put them in the dugout. Show the old English D.
It would be hard, I would imagine, to go back to the dugout if you would drop a ball like that with sunglasses perched on your hat.
It has happened, and I promise you, not just once. Lots and lots of times, guys will wear their glasses on their hat, sunball, clank.
Martinez starting things off here in the second.
What happens, Mario, is guys just forget that they're there.
Yeah, and
they don't put them on, don't get quite used to, accustomed to them, so they're there for those situations and forget about it.
Now the 1-2. How about back in the day when they had those little flip downs? All you had to
They
do
were
was,
terrible.
They were not good?
No, they were terrible. I mean, guys got used to them. Obviously, it was infielders and outfielders wearing them. Pitchers never did, but I used to wear them during batting practice just to try them. And every time I flipped them down, I lost the ball. I mean, it was, I don't know how they did it, really.
Well, now, why would you try sunglasses on? You're not going to wear them while you pitch.
It was just, I just wanted to see what it was like for those guys to wear them. And we're out shagging. That's all we do during batting practice.
JD's got a lot of eye black to cut down on the glare on a sunny day, and he'll drive one to left field, base hit.
And he continues to swing a hot bat.
Well, he is heading to the All-Star break in high fashion.
Again, let's watch JD's swing. Just still head, hands down. Just so many things he's doing right now. And he gets the Tigers' first hit of the game off J-Hap.
And that'll be a 9-game hitting streak for JD Martinez. There's Castellanos, who is batting 5th for the first time this year. And for good reason he's been elevated. Castellanos now is 5 for 10 in the series.
In the last few games where Nick has started to hit the ball well himself, it's kind of eerie to see the similarities between his swing and JD's swing. They have a lot of, first of all, they have the same kind of frame. They're both about the same height. Nick a little bit heavier, but very similar type swings when Nick is swinging.
Castellanos with 6 home runs. In fact, he has 6 RBIs in this series. A couple of homers as well against the Seattle staff. So Safeco Field in this series has not looked at all like a pitcher's ballpark. Of course, the weather's been so hot here. That's one of the main reasons why. To get away from the catcher. Sucre will run it down, and JD will go to second.
Give him pass ball on that. That's catcher probably should have caught the ball.
Scoring chance now for Castellanos. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Last 13 games, dramatic difference between the previous 20 games for Nick. It's just good to see. The Tigers certainly need his bat in the lineup. He's moved up in the order.
Ground ball left side, going to get through, base hit. JD read it nicely. He's going to round third and come home, and he will score. Castellanos will go to second. And the Tigers have a 1-0 lead.
Well, JD did a good job of getting quickly over to third base. Dave Clark waves him in, kind of tests the throw of Dustin Ackley out in left field, and Ackley doesn't hit a cutoff man. They just let it go through, and Nick Castellanos doing a good job of sensing and reading that. He continues on to second base, and now he's in scoring position.
So the pass ball, a huge play in this inning. 37 RBIs for Castellanos, who has now advanced his hitting streak to 9 straight.
And again, the Tigers getting on the board first.
So here is James McCann. Nobody out. Castellanos gets a single on the play and takes second on the throw. Ball 1 to McCann, who's also swinging it. He's up to 274. And Happ missing outside. Run the count to 2 balls, no strikes. McCann is 10 for his last 21 at bats. Good swing there on 2-0. 2 balls, 1 strike.
Came to the ballpark early yesterday and walked by the training room, and right next to the training room is a weight room. James McCann is pumping iron. He's pretty buffed, and I was thinking to myself, boy, what a difference generation makes. I remember Jim Campbell yelling and screaming at guys about the tabooism of lifting weights. Lance Parrish, kind of the first guy to do it, and he got yelled at and fined, told he shouldn't be doing that, and nowadays it's all part of the overall training for all players.
Yeah, the game has transformed in so many ways. Was Lance really the first that you can remember?
Well, yeah, I'm sure there were other guys doing it, but Lance just, he didn't care what anybody told him. He was going to do it. That was part of his routine.
Jay Happ comes back with a strikeout, 1 gone.
First strikeout now for Jay Happ.
Hey, stay tuned to Tigers Live. Following the game, we'll select our Fox Sports Detroit Tigers player of the game, presented by the McDonald's Big Mac and 10-piece McNuggets. Here's Jeffrey Marte. First major league start for Marte. His first big league at bat came on Sunday at home against Toronto. He struck out in that at bat, but his numbers at Toledo, 55 RBIs, that was leading the International League at his call-up. In fact, was the player of the month in the International League. And a strike in the outer edge.
That's a big number to have 55 here at the halfway point. No matter what league you're in, that's a lot of runs driven in. And he could pick one up right here.
2-1 on Marte. I remember seeing Jeffrey in spring camp. He's been with a couple of different organizations, including the Mets and the A's, but I really don't remember a whole lot about Marte during spring camp, but here he is after a really good start to this year. He'll slice one fair down the right field line. That'll be his first big league hit, and it's going to produce his first big league run. Marte goes into second with a double, and it's 2-0 Detroit.
Yeah, he got out of the box quickly. He sensed the double easily. He runs better than I thought he did. The ball was hit hard right past the first baseman, Mark Trumbull. Going with the pitch. Fastball away.
Just by a diving Mark Trumbo at first. So the Tigers get a couple of runs on 3 hits in this inning. Still only 1 out. Here's Andrew Romine.
And part of the problem right there, that number for Jay Happ, that's kind of constant for him. He's always had high pitch counts, and that's why he doesn't get deeper into games. Already here, we got 1 out in the second inning. He's got 36 pitches.
That'll bounce in. Is it far enough? Sucre's throw. The tag is not in time. Marte aggressively advances to third.
You got to know your own speed and how far away that ball was kicked away from the catcher. Marte doing a good job. Now he's in scoring position. Again, a fly ball here can make a difference. Sucre did a nice job. Good throw. Made it close.
Last start, Jay Happ threw 101 pitches to get through 6. Infield coming in now for Seattle. Romine looks at a ball. 1-1. Andrew at second base today. The Tigers have given Ian Kinsler the afternoon off.
Romine only playing his 3rd game at second base for Kinsler today. He's primarily been a 3rd baseman this year.
1-2 count. And Kinsler was 1 for 10 in the first 2 games in this series, so he'll get a breather this afternoon. Andrew has hit a couple of home runs this year. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Marte, the runner at third base. He has doubled in a run here, his first major league hit and RBI. Now the 2-2 swing and a miss. Struck out Romine. Second strikeout of the inning for the left-hander Happ.
Romine probably would like to have another crack at that. That's a fastball just up over the plate. Kind of swung right through it.
Here's Jose Iglesias, which brings us to our Bernstein advantage. And we're talking about guys that have hit against left-handed pitching. Certainly Iglesias and Victor Martinez have had the Bernstein advantage against left-handed pitching, both over 400.
They got to be chomping at the bit to see a left-hander out there.
Jose 1 for 6 in the series. 319 overall now, which is still top 5 in the American League. He came in 4th, as a matter of fact. Let's see if it finds the seats. Trumbo. 0-1. Nice catch down there.
Trumbo hasn't had a lot of reps over at first base in recent times, I should say. He did quite a few when he was with the Angels, but that's a kind of a play right there that you've got to be on the field a lot to know exactly where you are and get over to that pole or the wall there quickly.
Well, that ball landed in row 1.
Yeah, I mean, that's my point. He's got a chance. Yeah. But he's got to get there quickly. And he kind of just drifted over there. There's about the same speed the ball was flopping over there.
Here's the 0-2.
Oh.
No. Iglesias hits the deck.
Again, he's got the shin pad on, but that one did not hit in the right spot. Oh, right above it. Right on the inner shin, below the knee. That's got to hurt. Nothing but bone there.
It is probably bruising up as we speak. Kevin Rand is out to take a look at Iglesias.
We talk about pitching coaches coming out, and what do you say to the guy? He's struggling out there. You know, you try to get him to take a breather. Well, that's what trainers do too. Come on, what's he going to say to him? How do you
How does it feel? Yeah.
Well, where does it hurt?
It kind of hurts right now.
From my toes to my neck.
Because he really can't do anything for him.
Remember they used to have this freeze stuff, little tube. They'd come out and score. You know, that stuff stung more than it did anything. It never did freeze.
Bill Beam used to bring that stuff out all the time, didn't he?
It was beautiful. It was the trainer's attempt to try to help heal you quickly.
It looked good, though.
Well, it looked like it was going to work, but like I said, it stung more than anything. You're already in pain, and then they throw a little sting on top of it. That'll do it.
To right field. That ball hit pretty good, and it's going to find a gap and go to the wall. Iglesias limping to second base. He'll pull in with a double, and he finds a way to drive the run in with 2 outs.
Well, you hit in the gap, you don't have to run all that hard. Of course, your leg's going to feel better after a swing like this, but ball away from Jose Iglesias, and it finds the gap. Seth Smith, not a really good jump, and he doesn't run very well either. So it's all up to Austin Jackson to get to the ball, and Iglesias kind of shifts down into a lower gear, going into second base.
He was lumbering, he was laboring, there's no doubt. His 8th double of the year. And so just like last night, the Tigers scored 3 in the second. So the bats just continue to pound, and it's something that, Jack, that we've talked about. Even without Miguel Cabrera, this offense has really picked it up.
Well, and this is such a plus. If you're the pitcher right now and you see your team, you just get spotted 3. I mean, 1's a different story. You still have to be quite careful with 1, but with 3, just be aggressive. Make sure you do not walk or fall behind guys. Anibal Sanchez, he's a pro, he's a vet, he's been around, he knows the situation, but you have so much more confidence in pounding the strike zone with a 3-run lead.
Rajai Davis fly to center field to start the ball game. 0 for 1. Jay Happ is about to throw his 50th pitch.
Halfway there.
And we're only in the second. Here's the 0-2. Checked it low. Did he go? Negative. Says DJ Rayburn.
Well, with the 11th inning game last night, the Mariner bullpen was used. There was 4 guys who came out of the pen last night for Seattle also. So everybody's kind of worn out at this point. It's up to the starters to get deeper into the game. Jay Happ already, pitch count climbing.
Yeah, well, it's not going to happen with Happ, it appears, today.
No. He's been fighting his command again.
2-2 on Rajai Davis. Tigers had 3 runs on 4 hits. There is the ratio for Happ. Bouncing ball to short. And it almost hit the runner, but nice play there by Miller to retire the side. Tigers, though, get 3 to go on top. One of the key hits, Jeffrey Marte's first major league hit. Tigers out to a 3-0 lead here this afternoon. Jeffrey Marte's first major league hit, a double down the right field line, scoring a run for the Tigers.
He's got his glasses on.
Imagine that. Sanchez goes back to work. Trumbo leads it off and looks at ball one. Ackley and then Miller will follow. Trumbo batting .172. Sanchez gave up a single. It's a ground ball, fair ball. Down the line it goes. Trumbo is rumbling towards second base, and he is in with a stand-up double.
And he kind of returns the favor to Marte. They both shoot a ball that way, just getting beyond his glove. Man, they're very similar. Just inches off both their gloves.
That'll bring up Dustin Ackley. Ackley at 209 has a triple in this series. And he looks at a strike, 0-1. Ackley 5 home runs.
Hold on.
We got somebody running on the field. And security will quickly pounce on this guy. So we'll wait until Seattle's finest does its job.
Outstanding tackle right there.
It was
That's
pretty
all
good.
I can say.
It was pretty good.
And thank goodness that we do not televise the knuckleheads that run out on the field.
Well, they drag this dude off the field. We will tell you that it is time now for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag Detroit Data Strong Fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. So Sanchez now will continue to warm up while they escort the guy off the field. And I would imagine straight to the pokey. Leadoff double by Trumbo here in the second. So Sanchez now has allowed a couple of hits in this game. Now time is called.
All right, now I think we're about ready to start playing baseball again.
Can we play baseball now?
Yeah.
Here's the 0-1. It's fouled back out of play. No balls, 2 strikes. Ackley in his days at North Carolina was one of the best hitters in college baseball. And when the Seattle Mariners drafted him, I think they thought they were going to get a guy that was going to hit a little bit better at this level. He is a career .245 hitter. He has changed positions a couple of times. Swing and miss. Sanchez dispatches him.
Ackley looked like he was trying to pull that ball. He kind of opened up quickly, and the ball's up and away. And that's where Annabelle will show that fastball a lot of the times, up out of the strike zone. He gets him to chase, and that's a big out right there.
So Brad Miller will step in. It's part of the lineup last night that got it going in the 3rd inning for the Seattle Mariners. The bottom 3 were getting on base. There's a high drive to center field. Rajay is on the move. Runner will tag and move to third base. Trumbo moves up 90 feet. 2 gone. I'm going to bring up Sucre. Sucre, well, he's hitting 0-40 in the big leagues this year. He is 1 for 25 so far. He's called up on June 4th.
That's a rough start. Kind of, again, reminds me of a former teammate of mine, Brian Harper. He came over from Pittsburgh with the Tigers, and at one point I think he was 0 for 25, and Sparky just had to bench him. It was late in the year. Next year he's traded to the Twins. He ends up hitting about 358, and I became a member of the Twins a couple years later, and I went up to Harp and I reminded him of that story. I said, Harp, what happened? I said, here you are, a 350 hitter now, and you couldn't sniff a base hit. He said, Jack, I've never been so nervous in my life. He said, I got into a bad start. It was 0 for 10 or 0 for 12, and it just got in my head. And it happens. That's, you know, he was just being honest with me about those kind of starts.
Snowball effect.
Yeah.
2 balls, 1 strike on Sucre. And you're right, it does happen even to the best. I remember Derek Jeter had an 0 for 28 stretch, I believe, at one point in his career. Bouncing ball right off the glove. Sanchez trying to run it down. Sucre lumbering, and he threw it away. That'll get a run in. Sanchez ran that ball down, but he couldn't put it on target, and Seattle will get on the scoreboard.
Now they're going to have to give Sucre a hit, I think. But Annabelle does a great job of chasing that ball down. Let's take another look here. Gets a glove on it, and he wheels and turns, and it wasn't that terrible a throw, but the problem is it had to be firm, and I don't think Marte was really ready for that firm a throw. It was down a little bit, but very catchable.
They have charged Marte with the error. And so Trumbo comes in to make it 3-1. Here is Austin Jackson, and he looks at a strike. Jackson struck out in his first at bat. Way outside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
And so far in this series, the starting pitchers have just had a real tough time of having shutdown innings. When their team scores, and there's been multiple run innings, you want to go out there and get your team right back into the dugout. That's the momentum changers, and this game's so much about momentum. And now, with a run scored, Seattle might feel like they're back into this.
Well, last night was a great example. The Tigers got 3 runs for Kyle Ryan in the second, and Jackson hit the grand slam. Very next inning, they just couldn't contain. Now the 2-1. 2-2 on Austin Jackson. It was the first grand slam of Jackson's career last night. Missed almost a month with an ankle problem earlier this year.
33 pitches for Annabelle. You'd like to have that number around 15 pitches an inning. So he's a little bit high here, and partly because of the error in the first inning. Another error for the Tigers here in the second inning.
E6, E3. Cal Seeger waiting on deck, and that's been one of the areas the Tigers have been pretty good this year in, and that's team defense.
It makes a difference. That's what makes the Royals so good, I think. It's part of their team defense. There's a big strikeout.
Jackson again caught looking. That'll end the inning. 1 run in for Seattle. Tigers baseball presented by Bell Tire. Here at Safeco Field, Yoenis Cespedes will start things off, and fans, you can vote for Yoenis as the final American League All-Star. Go to Tigers.com and cast your 2015 Esurance MLB All-Star Game final vote. Send Yoenis Cespedes to the All-Star Game in Cincinnati. Vote now. Voting ends 4 o'clock Eastern, Friday, July the 10th. Well, the Tigers have a 2-run lead now as J. Happ goes back to the hill. Cespedes will look at strike one. Victor Martinez, then J.D. Martinez to follow.
Tigers can't afford to keep their foot off the throttle. They got to keep pouring it on to Happ here. His pitch count's way up there already for 2 innings. Grind out at bats, keep runners going, keep the wheel moving. Cespedes had a great series. Victor on deck, he's had a great series.
Well, we've learned with the Seattle team, even though they have struggled offensively for the most part this year, they have done a really good job in the first 2 games in the series for matching the Tigers offensively. Here's the 0-2.
Yeah, the strength of the Mariners, quite honestly, has been their starting pitching, and yet it hasn't been all that sharp here in the first 2 games of this series, and seems to be continuing here with Happ on the mound in this 3rd game. But with that being said, we haven't seen Felix Hernandez. Of course, the Mariners haven't seen David Price.
It's in the shallow center field. Jackson will get there, 1 gone. Seattle has played a lot of 1-run games this year. They are 17-13 in 1-run games, as last night's was. Victor Martinez bounced out his first time, 0 for 1.
Did you send the memo down to the Tiger dugout today about overtime? We don't play overtime. We don't get paid for overtime. Let's forget about the extra inning games.
You know, even if
especially on getaway day.
Even if you send the memo,
they ignore it.
They never adhere to it. Ever.
Well, they've certainly had their share of extra inning games, especially in the last month here or so.
Well, last night's was certainly winnable when Victor Martinez doubled to start the 11th inning. It looked pretty good for the Tigers.
There's a gapper.
It's going to be another double for Victor. He's going to go to the 376 sign. Martinez cruising into second with another 2-base hit. What a hitter this guy is.
Yeah,
what a hitter.
He barrels up a ball as well as anybody, and what I'm trying to describe there is putting the good part of the bat on the baseball, and that's just hand-eye coordination. That's thousands and thousands of reps as a hitter, but it's really what distinguishes him, and his ability to foul off time and time again. Just those nasty pitches, a pitcher's pitch, and then when he gets a chance to get a pitch that he can drive, he does it. He drives it.
It's fouled out of play. What do they say about the great hitters? The good hitters get a good pitch to hit. The great hitters don't miss that pitch.
And I can promise you, in my career, that is definitely true. The guys that I pitched against that are Hall of Famers today, you make a mistake on them, they never missed it.
It's almost like you're stunned when Victor doesn't get a hit. Swing and a miss. 0-2 on J.D. Martinez.
You know, even some of the good hitters will get a pitch and pop it up or make an out with a good pitch. But the great hitters, man, oh man, don't make a mistake.
The 0-2. Well, J.D. got it started with a single in the second, eventually scored a run. He is now hit safely in 9 straight, which is just too shy of his season high 11-game hitting streak. That was back in May. One and two. Martinez has gotten so much publicity for the home runs. As you see there, they hit it here at JD side. But this is a guy now that's batting .292.
Well, he just keeps improving. You know, the home runs, they kind of came in streaks, and a lot of them early in the season were shot out to right field, especially at Comerica. And now you're seeing him starting to square up balls and pull a few of them straightaway center. It doesn't seem like there's any ballpark that's safe for JD when he really squares one up. But you're absolutely right. He's getting pitched to better now, I think, and he's still showing that he can drive the ball. You know, you're in a lineup with Miguel Cabrera, and you're in a lineup with Victor Martinez, and you're a young guy, and you're not paying attention. Shame on you. Because these guys, just by watching them, can help you become a better hitter. You watch what they do, and if you're paying attention, you should be able to adjust and try to do what they're doing.
Driven to center field. Jackson moving back to the track. He'll make the catch in front of the wall. So Martinez hit a long way, but not deep enough.
Yeah, I did that yesterday, about the same place. And Victor, with his legs, didn't even make an attempt to tag there. A lot of guys, Trumbo just tagged on a ball that wasn't hit that far in the last half inning, but Victor, he's not going to push those legs, so it's going to take almost a gapper to score Victor from second base.
That is the one downside of Martinez right now, the fact that he just really can't run all that well. And you could see even on that double that he had, he was laboring into second base. He's been flexing that left knee. But it's just something, because of the day in and day out pounding that baseball will provide, that he's going to have to try and manage.
Well, Brad Ausmus in last night's game, the 11th inning, Victor led off with a double, and he was pinch ran for by Andrew Romine, because the Tigers just had to roll the dice at that point, saying we need one hit and a base hit could win this game. So you take Victor's bat out of the lineup and gamble that the speed will help you.
Yeah, earlier this year, Brad took some heat for pinch running for Victor, but that was a different story. This was a leadoff double in the extra innings. And it'll go to right field for the final out as Castellanos is gone. No runs, a double, one left. Get the lowest tire price, period. Bell Tire. Meyer, save big with M-Perks from Meyer. Sign up at mperks.com. And by Chevrolet, find new roads. Lake Union. Here in the Seattle area, 3-1 is our score as the Tigers lead the Seattle Mariners. Which one of those do you own, Jack?
I was going to say, I imagine you were up early yesterday helping the crew with a few of these scenics.
No. Actually, I wasn't.
Ooh, houseboats, huh? Those
Pretty
are
nice.
real houseboats. They're not like the ones that you actually move.
You get seasick?
I can.
Yeah.
It's usually from diesel smell and about 13-foot seas. But
I just can't do boats.
It's got to be pretty. It's more the swells that get me in the ocean. I haven't really been seasick on inland lakes at all.
It's good for you.
Yeah, I'm lucky.
Sanchez goes back to work.
There's nothing worse, is there?
No, there really isn't. Seasickness is the worst illness ever.
The worst.
Sanchez here facing Seager, and then Cano and Cruz. Ball gets all the way past McCann. 2-1. Seager flying out his first time up to the right fielder. He's 0 for 1. Lifted toward left. It's slicing. It's going to drop in. Cespedes can't get there. He's going to try for 2. And Cespedes overran it. It looked like he might put on the brakes. But they're going to call it a double.
Respecting Cespedes' arm and his ability to throw the ball, but he has to pick it cleanly. Nothing you can really do about that. That ball's hitting the wrong spot if you're the pitcher. Cespedes gets over to it quickly, but ends up with that right there, so Seager gets to scamper into second base.
So right there, I think he was going to stop.
He was going to hold up.
17th double this year for Kyle Seager, and now here is Cano. He dropped in a ball that it didn't look like Rajay had a good look at it back in the first inning. A single into shallow center.
No, it was a ball that Sanchez was able to get in his kitchen a little bit. Kind of fought it off.
Cano has gone 6 straight years of batting .300 or better. He's going to have to really pick up the pace in the second half. Although he's showing signs of that here in the month of July.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. It's kind of like Victor. You know that when it's all said and done and the smoke settles, these guys will be near the top.
Of course, the article came out recently talking about a stomach ailment that he's been battling for about a year now, which has sapped his energy. And it just came out recently. Cano didn't want to use that as an excuse. Rolls this one to the right side of the infield. Marte. Sanchez covering, 1 gone. Game break time. Here is Trevor Thompson. Boy, those fighting Twins.
They're tough at Target Field. The home field advantage has really kind of shifted for the Twins. Should be a great series. Tigers go in there this weekend. 4-game series, and it ought to be a full house.
We haven't hoped so. It's going to be a great series. Nelson Cruz trying to drive in a run. Cruz reaching on the air on the routine ground ball hit to Iglesias in the first. It kept the inning going, but Sanchez came back to get Smith to pop up. Ground ball, third base side. This will get the run in. And Cruz is out, but he'll get an RBI. Double ground out, and it's now 3-2.
Well, Seager's going on contact right there, and he's not the fastest runner, but you're kind of taught that if there's not, if you don't have the ball very quickly, you're never going to go home there. You take the out, you're still up by a run, give away the second run of the game, but you get the out.
51st RBI for Cruz with the bases empty. Here is Seth Smith. For 1 with a pop-up for Smith, the former Rocky. 5 years in Colorado. Oakland and San Diego as well among his stops in the major leagues. he spent his entire career on the West Coast. I mean, you talk about Colorado, Oakland, San Diego, Seattle. Although technically Denver is not the West
Colorado,
Coast.
well, yeah, we're going to have to wait for that big quake to have oceanfront property. But
you know what I meant.
I know exactly what you meant. And I got to believe that Colorado is the best place to hit of those.
Oh, no doubt.
Oakland and San Diego, not exactly the greatest hitters ballparks.
1-2 on Smith. 3 runs, 5 hits for the Tigers. 2 runs, 3 hits for Seattle. They play the shift to the right side against Smith. Here's the 1-2.
Again, Annibal showing that fastball in off the plate. Let's see if he goes back in there. He's done that a few times, or if he tries to throw something soft away, sitting out away. There it is.
Got him. Strike 3. Smith caught looking. Seattle gets a run. We played 3 here at Safeco. Fans get a Tigers hat in EMU colors and a ticket to see the Tigers take on the Mariners July 22nd at 7:08. When you buy a special ticket package exclusively at tigers.com/EMU. Pretty sharp looking hat. Back here at Safeco Field, where there are tons of Tigers fans and have been for this entire series. We're enjoying the sunshine today. Gorgeous afternoon here in Seattle.
Yes, it is.
And their team has a 1-run lead, 3-2, as the Tigers hit in the 4th inning, facing Jay Happ. James McCann, Jeffrey Marte, Andrew Romine, 6, 7, 8 in Brad Ausmus lineup today. There's a popped up bunt right back to Happ for the out.
Let's take a look at the big boys' big play of the game. And we're talking about Jeffrey Marte's first major league hit. Shoots it past Mark Trumbull for a double down the right field line. And that plated Nick Castellanos.
So Marte here will bat with the 1 out, nobody on. Tigers had 5 hits today, 3 for Seattle. Marte, in winning the Player of the Month award in June in the International League, hit 8 home runs and knocked in 25 in the month of June. He's gone ahead of the count here. 2 balls, no strikes. High fly ball deep into left field. Ball is hit well. Track wall, and Marte has hit his first major league home run. A solo shot here in the 4th, and he's having a day.
Well, Mark Krause came in his first at bat as a Tiger yesterday at first base. He hits a home run, and Marte getting a chance to replace Miggy over there. Maybe it's just first base. He's got to play first base for the Tigers, and you can rake.
It's probably not true, but Marte will take it. A double for his first major league hit, a homer in his second at bat. What a day for Marte.
He's got some pop. You see the numbers in AAA, and maybe that'll continue here. That's a good sign.
Well, the Seattle fans threw that ball back on the field, and Marte's pretty fired up about that.
Yeah, give me it.
He's got a souvenir. Come on, Albuquerque.
Albuquerque's going to pretend that he's going to throw it into the stands again.
4-2. Tigers lead by 2 now. Romine the batter. Fouled away. 0-2 on Romine. Couple of RBIs today for Marte. Nothing but a big smile right now. One and 2 on Romine. Andrews struck out back in the second. Let's see, the Tigers with the home run today by Marte have now hit 9 of them in this series.
And it's not even close to being over yet.
No.
We talked about how the ball is really carried here. It's been warm in Seattle. And you and I have both kind of agreed it's been warmer in Detroit. So, I mean, this isn't like smoking hot.
Well, for these parts, very warm as Romine is caught.
There's something about it, I guess, where when it heats up, the ball does carry well here. And today, that ball, yeah, I think you just got to tip your hat to some of these swings, too. These guys are putting on some power swings. Not just the Tigers, but the Mariners have hit a few themselves.
And you saw the graphic there, 13 total. This really has turned into a slugfest. Here's Iglesias. Now, if Jose hits one out, then you can talk about the heat again. Having its effect.
He can do it.
I know he can do it. I'm just saying he's not Cespedes or Victor or JD. Jay Happ, meanwhile, he's up to 80 pitches.
Yeah. So much of pitching is about body control. You saw that pitch. You know, I just saw the monitor there. I'm looking at the last pitch, and I see a guy that just absolutely rushed his pitch. He did not slow down. Everything was in fast motion. The ball ends up being yanked because of it.
3-1.
And of course, I have to keep admitting it's a lot easier up here than it was down there.
It is?
It's easier to talk about it.
No doubt.
Down there, you actually have to execute what I'm talking about.
3-2 on Iglesias.
But that was part of the game that, in a way, I enjoyed it. Trying to always feel your body. You've got this crazy sense, because you've had so many repetitions with the same action, of where your arm should be relative to where it was. And then you make an adjustment. And you try to throw the next pitch because based on what your brain tells you. And that's the game. Hitters do the same thing with their swings.
Well, I remember when Max Scherzer was with the Tigers, they kept saying he's got such a very difficult delivery to repeat. It's not very repeatable. but he certainly mastered it. And there's a walk to Iglesias. He's on base for the second time.
Pitch count just keeps climbing for J-Hap. That is his first walk of the game.
Here's Rajai Davis. Fly out, ground out for Davis. Tigers lead 4-2 on the home run by Jeffrey Marte.
When I look at pitchers, Mario, the one thing that I really think is important that I'm not sure all the scouts in the world agree with me, but it's where you finish and how you finish. Is your momentum and are you squaring up to the hitter? Because that tells me a lot about their body control. And guys that fly open and are really spinning off, it is hard. To me, that's like a quarterback in a rollout. When he's in the pocket, he's able to throw the ball a lot easier to where he wants to. And when he's running with the ball and crossing the field, it's a whole lot different to try to pinpoint a pass. But I don't think it's a whole lot different for a pitcher.
Well, why is it then when scouts look at high school players or college players, the guy that throws 95 but has the violent delivery will still be looked at more so than the kid that throws 88?
For this simple reason, there is more chance for hitters to swing out of the zone because of the fraction of a time difference. When a guy throws in the upper 90s, you have more room for error. You do not have to have as great a command. When you throw the ball in the mid 80s, you better throw the ball where you want to, because hitters see it long enough. There's that split second of a difference.
Makes sense. Fouled back out of play by Davis. 2-2 on Rajai.
But again, if I were a minor league pitching coordinator, the one thing that I would preach to all my guys, you're not going to see the next level until you can command your fastball. I don't care how much you fly open. I don't care what you do, but you better be able to throw the ball to all four quadrants of the strike zone with your fastball.
And I think most, if not every single pitching coach that I've ever spoken to has talked about that fastball command being the biggest key.
Everything revolves around your fastball. You know, we watch Anibal Sanchez. To me, he's a guy that doesn't throw that many fastballs for strikes. It's more of a show pitch to let the hitters know, I have this fastball, and it's in the low 90s.
Here's a chop slowly toward third. Seager. Quick throw.
Oh, man,
Safe.
yeah.
Rajai legs out an infield hit.
They're not even going to look at this. Rajai just hustling down the line. You could tell that he was going to beat the throw. Seager does a pretty good job of getting to the ball, but no question Rajai beats this by 2 feet. God, I wish I could run like that just once.
Infield knock for Davis. You and me both. Seager got rid of that ball as quickly as he could, but not even the Gold Glover could throw him out. Here's Cespedes. So the inning is extended now for Yoenis, who is 0 for 2. Ground out and a flyout. Iglesias and Davis, your base runners. Here's the 1-0. Line drive, caught by the shortstop Miller. Leaping play, took a hit, and an RBI away from Cespedes. Tigers get a run, though. First home run of the career for Jeffrey Marte. And it's 4-2.
Hasn't been exactly smooth for either team. The Tigers committing a couple errors. Sanchez here gets over to the ball and gets by Marte. Run scores. Mariners, ball gets by Sucre right there. The ball here, not very good running or throwing, gets by the cutoff man. Trumbo has a chance to catch a ball over there, so it hasn't been pretty, but the Tigers have a 2-run lead here.
Yeah, not the crispest of ball games in terms of defense and really overall play, but right now the Tigers lead at 4-2. That's all they're concerned about at this point. And Sanchez goes back to work. Trumbo leading it off. It'll be Trumbo, Ackley, and then Miller.
Well, Hannibal doing a pretty good job here. He knows what's at stake. He's got to rest that bullpen, try to get deeper into this game, and he's in a pretty good spot. Leadoff base hit, fisted it. Mark Trumbo, pretty strong guy, was able to fight that one off.
And that is his second hit. So Trumbo is aboard here. That'll bring up Dustin Ackley. Here you go. It's what you were talking about.
Yeah, a lot of work out of the bullpen. Look at all those pitches. It's one of the reasons that Alex Avila is getting the day off. He's caught a lot of pitches in the last 2 games. But overall, not very many runs given up by the bullpen, so they've done a good job.
Bullpen last night came on after they got the tying run in the 8th inning, and Hardy pitched well. Albuquerque, a couple of innings before they finally got to the pen in the 11th. Ackley showing bunt. He struck out in the second. Runner goes. Grounded foul. Trumbo on the move there.
Yeah, looked like a little hit and run there. Trumbo not really a speed guy, but they're going to try to get him started, avoid the double play. And see, he got a great jump.
Two and one. Driven to right field and deep, and this ball is gone. Dustin Ackley hits his 6th, and the home run ball bites Sanchez yet again.
This series has been, all about the long ball. Both teams just hammering the baseball around. This one's a high changeup, left out over the plate. You can see it's a circle change, how he's gripping that ball, but the location, up out over the plate. Ackley. See, you just had to talk about a guy struggling, didn't you?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
All my fault. Well, Ackley hits his 6th. And that's going to tie this ball game up at 4-4.
I was about to agree with you, saying, geez, a guy hitting 208, it's just not getting the job done, and bang.
Here are the home run numbers. 19 allowed now for Sanchez this year alone. And I know we've said this many times, but when you come into play a 3-game series here in Seattle, you're just not used to seeing this.
You know, I'm just making an observation. I know you've seen all the games that Anibal has pitched this year. I've seen a few of them. But it seems to me, correct me if you disagree, that the home runs he's allowing are all up in the zone. And Anibal was never a guy to throw the ball up in the zone that much.
No, I agree.
In the past years, he has had great command down. And for whatever reason, he's elevating a lot of his pitches this year.
3 balls, 1 strike on Brad Miller. Well, even taking a step further, the hit that he gave up to Ezekiel Carrera on that changeup to break up the no-hitter was elevated. Sucre waiting on deck. 3-1 is outside, ball 4, and that'll put Miller at first base. The first 3 reach here in the 4th.
And I think that's going to bring out Jeff Jones too. McCann going out there to talk to Annabelle. You've got to refocus here. It's bad enough you make a mistake to Ackley and then you walk the number 8 hitter. Sometimes it's tough. Day games, bright sun, long night. I'm sure they gave Annabelle an opportunity. I don't know if he left early and went back to the hotel to get his rest, but a lot of times managers will do that when they sense that it's going to be a long night following day's starting pitcher. All that being said, it's still about focus when you're on the mound and being able to command your pitches. And Jeff Jones going to the mound right there just to help him regroup.
Well, Sanchez coming into play today had pitched into the 7th inning in 7 consecutive starts. And if there was ever a day the Tigers needed him to do it again, it's today. After last night's game. Here is Sucre. Drops down a bunt. That's a fair ball as Marte picks it up and tags the runner. Sacrifice moves him up. That's a 3 unassisted sacrifice.
Well, this ball was probably headed foul, but Marte does a good job because he keeps the ball in front of him and is able to tag out Sucre. Get the out at this point. Runner goes to second, and he's in scoring position. That's only the first out of the inning. Logan Morrison's going to come in and hit here.
He is batting for Austin Jackson, who had struck out twice in this game. And Morrison looks at ball 1. Morrison homered in the first game of the series. Last night had a walk and a run scored. A 4-4 game, go ahead run at second. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning. Tigers jumped out to a 3-0 lead in this game, but we're back even now. Swing and a miss. 1-1 on Morrison. Or Lomo, as they call him here. If you pitched today, they'd have to call you J-Mo. Oh. Apparently you didn't like that. Or wouldn't like that.
They've called me a lot of things. And I pretty much accepted all of them. That just doesn't have a good ring to it.
Here's the 1-1. Fouled off. Come on, J-Mo sounds good.
Okay. You want to call me that, I accept it. I might not answer to it.
Morrison in the series 1 for 8. He has scored a couple of runs, 3 RBIs. But like many of his teammates in a tough stretch, batting just 143 in his last 20 games. Did he go?
Yes.
Kerwin Danley throws up the right hand from third base.
McCann calls the slider here. And he throws it, buries it down and in. You can see, yeah, he went around. Good location right there. And another big out.
Here's Kyle Seager.
5th striker for Annabelle.
Seager had a double and scored a run in the 3rd. Ball 1 to Seager. Couple of hits in the series. They have made him a part of their future for quite a few years now. A 7-year contract signed this past December after he knocked in 96 last year. Pickoff throw is wide.
Iglesias, he's doing everything he can. He even kept the ball there. Thought maybe he could get the old hidden ball trick.
Jose's constantly moving it short. Walks in circles.
He's trying to stay loose. You know, a lot of flat-footed fielders in these long innings.
Drill to right field. It's going to hook foul.
Just another reason why it's important to have a good pace and try to get back in the dugout. You don't want your fielders. They're always going to be sharper and better when they don't have to stand around for long periods of time. It's just human nature.
That's why probably time of game is not quite as important as pace of game. And there certainly is a difference. Popped him up. Middle of the infield. Trouble with the sun. Look out. Sanchez, or Iglesias rather, is able to fight it.
Yeah, there's those glasses on top of the hat.
Well, Sanchez gets a little help. That was almost disaster. p.m. Eastern. Then at 7 Eastern, Baseball Night in America. The Yankees battle the Red Sox on your local Fox station. All this week on your home for baseball every Saturday, Fox and Fox Sports 1. Bunch of changes.
Yeah, Morrison stays at first base. Trumbos goes out to right field. Smith goes from right to left. And Ackley goes from left to center. So Austin Jackson out of the game.
Well, it's 4-4 now. Jay Happ goes back to work. And he'll face Victor Martinez.
Stirring already now in the Mariner bullpen. Happ closing in on 100.
Well, he will get there in this inning. In fact, he might get there in this at bat with Victor up there. Double and a ground out for Martinez. And now he's gone 3-0 on Victor.
Right-hander Mark Lowe pitched well in this series. He's up and throwing.
Here's the 3-0 pitch, and he walked him on 4 straight. And be the second walk for Happ. And brings up J.D. Martinez.
Also going to bring out pitching coach Rick Waits.
See Lowe tuning up. He had a 1-2-3 7th in last night's game. In fact, struck out the side for Seattle. So Jay Happ now in 97 pitches. Rick Waits had a long major league career with Cleveland, Milwaukee. Here is J.D. Martinez now after the leadoff walk. Do not have any info on why Austin Jackson left this game, but as soon as we find out, we will pass it along. Single and a fly out for Martinez. The ball that he hit in his last at bat went deep to center. Strike one in the outer edge.
Tigers going to have to keep grinding out those at bats. They've had a great series offensively. They've already 4 runs scored in this one, and they're not going to be able to let off. They need to help again.
How about JD on this list?
Pre-All-Star break, most home runs. Miggy leading the charge. My old teammate, Cecil Fielder. He had a big year in '98. 51 home runs.
2-1. Didn't he hit one on the roof that year? If I'm not mistaken.
I don't know if it was 1990, but I know he cleared the roof at Old Tiger Stadium in left field. He's one of the only guys to ever do that. He could hit bombs. Tremendous bat speed.
The 2-1. JD fouls it back. 2-2 on Martinez. Castellanos on deck. And so Happ now has gone over 100. He's had 101. Threw a lot in that second inning in which the Tigers had their biggest frame. They scored 3 in that second.
Another full count for Jay Happ. He's over 100. This could be it for him. Castellanos on deck, another right-hander, so he's getting close to the end.
Three and 2 on J.D. Martinez. And he lost in ball 4. Back-to-back walks here in the 5th. And that's going to be it. Jay Happ will be done for the afternoon.
4+ innings.
And so we'll get a wall-side windows pitching change here. Mark Lowe is finishing up his warm-up tosses. He'll come into the ball game, and we'll be back.
Both games here Monday off Iwakuma early in the game. He gets a home run, and last night against Taijuan Walker, he drives another one. So Nick Castellanos has swung the bat well and has driven the ball well here in Seattle.
Well, Mark Lowe is going to come on now, and he's been doing some pretty good pitching under their bullpen.
Yeah, his numbers this year are extremely good. Mark Lowe has been used quite a bit and very good ERA. Tigers have a golden opportunity, 2 walks to lead off the top of the 5th inning. And those walks usually can haunt the pitcher. Tie game. Those runs are going to be on Jay Happ to see what happens here.
Nick had an RBI single earlier in this game. That was back in the 2nd. Tigers trying to snap a 4-4 tie here in the 5th. Castellanos laid off. Did not go. Mark Lowe has allowed only 2 earned runs in his last 26 appearances. He's also averaging over 11, almost 12 strikeouts per 9. Swing and a miss. 1-1. Lowe came on to strike out the side in the 7th last night. He got Castellanos, Davis, and Gose. Two and one.
And I'm trying to stay away from Nick Castellanos with the breaking ball.
Mariners bullpen last night with 12 strikeouts in 5 innings of work. Here's the 2-1. Swing, missed 2-2.
Carson Smith in last night's game came in. It seemed like every pitch was a slider. And Lowe doing the same thing here with Castellanos. You're seeing more and more of this in baseball. Scouts are really preaching to young players. Minor league developed pitching coaches are trying to get guys to command down and away, down and away, down and away. And the reason for that is you take away the pull strength and the possible home runs for most guys of being able to pull the ball.
It'll bounce in, blocked by Sucre.
Problem with that is you have to throw the ball in once in a while to keep the hitter honest. When they start seeing everything away, just because it's away, all of a sudden they make that adjustment and they might just inch up on the plate a little bit. That ball away now is down the middle and they can adjust. So if you don't keep them honest inside, it certainly is not the answer to fix everybody's problems.
Here's the 3-2. We got him, strike 3.
Right there.
Lowe gets a strikeout, 1 away. That'll bring up McCann. Tigers had a 3-0 lead early in this game. The Mariners have fought back to tie it at 4. McCann is 0 for 2. He popped up a bunt attempt his last time up, right back to the pitcher. Also a strikeout in this game.
Remember playing him quite deep on the left side. Seager way off the bag. Kind of double play depth up the middle.
Fouled away, 0-1.
And there's the ball in. That was intended to be a slider down and away, and that ball just spun in the old washing machine. Stayed up and in.
Bouncing ball towards second base. Cano will fire to second one. Relay to first. He's not in time. One hit all that sharply. Cano had a backhanded flip. Now they're going to call him out at first base. Joe West apparently calls some interference down at second. And here comes Brad Ausmus. It's going to be a 4-6-3.
Yeah, Brad didn't see that it's on Joe West making the call. He felt that Martinez slid out of the base to take out Brad Miller at short.
Right there, they say that Martinez was a little bit too far off the bag. So the double play ends the inning. Tigers baseball today presented by Bell Tire. Here come the Mariners now as we go to the bottom of the fifth inning. It'll be Robinson, Cano to start things off. Cano, Cruz, and Smith.
Yeah, the heart of the Mariner lineup here. Bottom half of the fifth inning.
4-4 game. In the series finale here, the Tigers have one win and Seattle has one win. Cano rips it to right field. JD's on the move, reaching to make the catch.
Let's go back to the last play of the bottom or the top half of the fifth inning. You can see JD Martinez coming into second base, and the rule says if you're in the vicinity of second base that you're allowed to do that. So I don't quite understand what that man, the great Joe West, was looking at other than maybe time of game. That to me is a legal slide in all respects.
I think it's a bad call.
Yeah, I do too.
I think JD clearly could have reached the bag. And that's a big double play because it short-circuited what looked to be a pretty good inning for the Tigers.
It's certainly a golden opportunity. 2 walks to lead off the inning, and somehow the Mariners wiggle out of it.
Nelson Cruz, the batter. And that'll be inside to run the count to 3-0. Back spasms for Austin Jackson. That's why he was pulled from the game. Cruz takes a rip on 3-0 and fouled it back. Green light.
certainly Sanchez's pitch count a lot better shape than Jay Happ's. He's in the bottom half of the 5th inning. 75 pitches thrown.
Cruz gets a walk. 1 on, 1 out. Here's our Comerica Bank game summary. Jeffrey Marte not only picked up his first big league hit, a double, his first big league homer as well. Sanchez 4 1/3 so far with 5 hits. And he has surrendered a 2-run shot to Dustin Ackley.
That's another thing about Sanchez and his home runs this year. Not very many of them have been solos. He's had base runners on, and that's what's really cost him in a lot of the ball games.
Up and in. Well, the home run that he gave up to Ackley here was a 2-run shot, and that tied the ball game up in the bottom of the 4th. Smith is 0 for 2. Darts the outside corner for a strike. 1-1.
Anibal has not had an easy inning yet in this game. No 1, 2, 3 innings for Sanchez at all. Mariners only had 1. That was the very first inning where Jay Happ went through 1, 2, 3.
Cruz a walk here in the 5th. Tigers, after this one is done, will head to Minneapolis. It'll be a 4-game weekend series to butt up against the All-Star break. It'll be Price and Pelfrey tomorrow to kick off that series. And what should be very entertaining, Minnesota won again today. Rolled foul. 2-2 on Seth Smith.
There's the pitches per inning. First inning being the high here for Anibal. Doing a good job with Smith here, keeping the ball down and in. And Smith seems to be swinging over the top of it. He can't really do much with that ball down and in. Almost back foot sliders from Anibal. They'll go away here, I think.
Runner goes. Ball high. McCann's throw is high as well. That'll be a steal. Only the second stolen base of the year for Nelson Cruz.
He got a great jump, and it was a very good pitch to run on. Cruz has got a lot better speed than people give him credit for, but that was all off the pitcher. Got a great jump. Ball way up and away. Not a great pitch for McCann to throw on. And another runner in scoring position for the Mariners.
It'll be ball 4 to put the man aboard, so 2 men on, couple of walks. Some really stressful innings for Sanchez in this game. Nothing has been easy.
No, nothing has been easy. And there's going to be games like that. Anibal has pitched very well over his last 4 starts. Today's just been a battle. Tigers love to get a couple more innings out of him.
Here's Mark Trumbo. He's had a good day, couple of hits, a single double, 2 runs scored. Former Angel, former Diamondback. In there for a strike, 0-1. Trumbo bounced into a double play in the second inning of last night's game. Tigers could use another one right here. 1 ball, 1 strike. Trumbo's biggest year with the Angels, 2013, knocked in 100 that year, hit 34 homers. So he's just a couple of years removed from that season. And that one misses low.
Yeah, that wasn't that long ago, and yet all of a sudden this guy has been bumped around for a couple different teams, and you kind of wonder if he can regain that form. Certainly the Mariners are hoping that he can. He's having a good day today.
Well, they missed 3 months last year with a stress fracture in his foot. Big spot here in the 5th and a 4-4 tie, 2 on 1 out. Drilled to left field. Cespedes on the move, and he makes the catch. Yoenis ran it down in the corner. Nice running play by Cespedes.
Yes, it was. Great jump there for Yoenis to get to that ball. Read it perfectly. Had a great route. Let's take a look at it. You can see that straight to the ball. Sun maybe played a part, but he's wearing his glasses.
Sanchez appreciates it. So with 2 outs, here is Ackley. Ball 1 to Ackley, who hit one deeply back in the 4th inning, a 2-run shot into the seats in right field to tie the game at 4. His 6th home run of the season.
Yeah, coming off a high changeup out over the plate. And here's our high-speed pitch brought to you by Xfinity. You can see Anibal has touched 94 with his heater. Changeup at 73. There's 21 mile-an-hour difference according to my high school map.
That's some quick addition right there. Not that I'm surprised. The 1-1. Snap throw back down to second. Ooh, that was close. McCannon showing off that throwing arm.
He's got a quick release and a very strong arm. Trouble is, Cruz wasn't off the base all that much.
That's in the air to center field. Just to get him out of trouble. Davis under it to retire the side. No runs, couple of walks, steal. 2 men left. Still 4-4. 4 here this afternoon as we travel to the 6th inning. The Mariners have gone to the bullpen. Wallside Windows pitching change, and it's Michael Guipe.
See the numbers there for Michael. Now here's our 1-800 Sam call of the game. How about Jeffrey Marte in his first start as a Tiger? He's homered, he's doubled, he's got a couple RBI.
So
he's
Brad
got
Ausmus,
a chance to keep it going. Maybe hit for the cycle.
Brad made the call to the game and putting him in the lineup. Well, he's halfway there. He'll need a triple and a single to get the cycle. Two RBIs for Marte. Bottom 3 facing Guipe. It'll be Marte, Romine, Iglesias in the Tigers' 6th inning. Guipe works home a strike, 0-1. Marte doubled in a run in the second. Tigers were building a 3-0 lead in that inning. Strike called. 0-2. Marte down in the minor leagues playing mostly third base, so the Tigers have run him up here to get some reps at first base. They really do not have a guy on the roster that has played a lot of first base. They've used Avila, they've used Roma. Now Marte. Soft line drive caught by Cano, one gone.
I guess if you're in a minor league system for the Tigers, you probably don't want to be a first baseman.
No, I don't think I'd probably sign with the Tigers as a free agent if I played that position.
And there is an adjustment to move from third to first. I mean, you're guarding another line, but you got a lot more footwork at first base. You got to get over there and be able to take throws from the infielders.
I guess the one thing is that you're used to taking ground balls, but there are different slices.
Yep, balls going different ways.
Romine fouls it away. So Lowe came on in the 5th inning after back-to-back walks, got a strikeout and a double play, and now he gives way to Guipe in the 6th. Romine, couple of punch-outs in this game. And a leaping play by Cano. 2 gone. Time now for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag DetroitDataStrongFan. And you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Here's Iglesias.
Yeah, he's reached base twice. Started the game with a double and walked his last time up.
You think his shin still hurts?
Probably not.
He drilled one off his shin in his first at bat, then ended up doubling. You could see that he was in a lot of pain.
It's probably got a bruise there, but he's not feeling it right now. He's been moving around a lot. You don't want to hit it there again, though.
Here's the 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And I know there's sadistic pitchers out there that would try to throw the ball inside.
No.
Just to maybe see if he could do that again.
Now, would you have fallen into that category?
No comment.
Yeah, the answer is yes.
Of course.
That's down the right field line, back into the seats. One and 2 on Iglesias.
This game is sometimes about psychological warfare, and anytime you can get into the head, the guy looks at you like, what are you doing? You want to let him know that you know what you're doing.
I would think a lot of this game is psychological.
There is, no question. It's a real mind game between hitter and pitcher.
2 and 2.
Quite honestly, a lot of times between managers.
Sure.
Move, counter move.
Rajai Davis waiting on deck. Back up the middle, another hit for Iglesias. He just continues to produce out of the 9 spot in the lineup. 2-out single.
Reach base all 3 times. Rajay got a hit his last time up.
Here goes Rick Waits again, coming out of the dugout.
Nobody throwing in the Mariner bullpen, so this is just a conversation about getting that 3rd out.
Hey, the Tigers play the Orioles on Sunday, July 19th at 1:08. Sunday Kids Day. All kids 14 and under receive a free Paws coin bank. Call 866-66-TIGER or visit tigers.com. So now Davis had an infield single in his last at bat, 1 for 3. In there, strike 1. Rajay is now hit safely in 11 of 13. He's also second in the American League in triples. Now the 0-1 runner goes. Here comes the throw from Sucre. It is not in time. Stolen base.
Another good jump for Jose Iglesias.
Turned out to be close.
Yeah, head first slide. Had he been able.
Ooh. He may actually be out.
They're gonna. I don't know. The pitcher's on the rubber. I don't know what is going on here now. The home plate umpire Rob Drake is looking in the dugout, and they're going to take a look at it. And I think they're going to get themselves an out here from what we just saw. You can see
tag,
and
yeah,
the hands are not
out
to the bag yet.
So Country Joe, the crew chief, will come sauntering in, put on the headsets. Iglesias, for the time being, is called safe, but that replay we just saw is pretty conclusive. And the fans now are just being shown on the big board here. That's a really good tag by Cano, by the way.
That's one thing about a head first slide. It's going to slow your body down just a slight bit.
And they called him out. Didn't take long.
No.
So it caught stealing instead of a stolen base. Sucre throws him out. That'll end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left. Here comes the bottom of the 6th. big leagues, Yvonne Gallardo's scoreless inning streak snapped at 33 1/3 yesterday. Miguel Sano hit his first major league home run, one of the biggest prospects in the game. And Mike Moustakas and Johnny Cueto currently leading the final votes. So I got to get out there and vote yo. It's not surprising, though, that Moustakas is leading, is it?
No, well, the Royal fans really have been behind it. So you Tiger fans, you got to get out there and vote yo.
Here's Brad Miller.
And Tigers are going to get their first look at Miguel Sano. Next series coming up in Minnesota. And Gallardo, man, that's a pretty good streak. 33 1/3 innings without giving up a run.
You're not kidding.
That's not easy to do.
Miller, Sucre, and Morrison facing Anibal Sanchez. We're in the bottom of the 6th. 1-2.
Well, Anibal still out there. Bottom of 6. His pitch count creeping up. Needs a quick inning. A 1-2-3 inning.
Missed it high. 2-2. McCann held it there, but did not get the call from Rob Drake.
And he did his best to try to frame that too, bringing it back in a little bit. Mr. Fox Tracks kind of showed us where it was. Change up away. The ball up in the zone. He's got to get that ball down. That's the one that he's really got to command down in the zone, is that changeup.
Now the 3-2. And he lost in ball 4. It's another walk for Sanchez. Game break time. Trevor Thompson. All right, Trev, thanks. Here it is, a 4-4 game, bottom 6. And now 4 walks for Anibal Sanchez. Sucre probably up there to bunt. I'm thinking it's a pretty good bet, since he's 1 for 26 this year. And he sacrificed in the 4th inning.
And Castellanos in on the grass. He's ready to charge.
Bunted back to the mound, and Sanchez will tag the runner. Sacrifice again. That's his 2nd of the game. And now a shot for Logan Morrison. Morrison replaced Austin Jackson in the lineup. Pinch hit for him back in the 4th. Jackson left with back spasms. He is 0 for 1. There goes the runner to 3rd. And the throw not in time. Swiped it off Sanchez.
Brad Miller doing a great job of reading. It wasn't no second look. Anibal out of his stretch, just never checks the runner, and you get that walking lead. You can see him just creeping off, and away he goes. Great jump.
Nine stolen bases for Brad Miller. He's been caught just 1 time this year. Ground ball right side. They're going to hold the runner, but it's dropped momentarily by Romine. This will not score the run. Had the infield in, saving a run. 2 gone.
What a huge out that is. Romine keeping the ball in front. There's no way that they could send Brad Miller. Ball's hit right at the fielder at second base. huge out. And a ball. Got to be getting close to the end here. He needs to get an out, get a chance to win. If the Tigers could score, prevent that go-ahead run from scoring himself right here.
Seager strokes one in the air to center field and caught by Rajai Davis to end the inning. No runs, a walk. They'll leave a man at third. Who won again today, and this is what's on deck at Target Field.
Well, Glenn Perkins, their all-star closer, has been perfect. He got his 28th save today, but Brian Dozier, like Yoenis Cespedes, tough to vote him out of the all-star game. He leads all second basemen in home runs, RBI. He's having a great year for the Twins.
It'll start tomorrow. Pelfrey, Santana, Hughes, and Gibson, the probables for the Minnesota Twins. Tigers will answer with Price, Verlander, Simon, and TBA is pitching on Sunday. It might be Buck Farmer. We'll see. Here come the Tigers in the 7th inning. Now Rajai Davis leads it off. Infield hit in the 4th for Rajai. He was at the plate when Iglesias was caught stealing. 1 ball, 1 strike. Whitebay is out there for his 2nd inning. Fly ball, right field, routine for Trumbo. 1 gone in the 7th. Now Cespedes. Cespedes hit the solo shot in the 8th to tie it up in last night's game. Let's see if he can put the Tigers ahead here in the 7th. .290 batting average for Yoenis. Cespedes, don't forget, you've got until 4 p.m. Eastern on Friday to vote for Yoenis in the final vote. He would certainly love to join his teammates. The Tigers have Price, Cabrera, Iglesias, and J.D. Martinez going. Strike called, 1-1. In there, a strike. Whitebay spells his first name, and it's pronounced Michael. He spells it Maykol. Native of Venezuela.
Oh, I got to correct you on that one. He didn't spell it that way. Mom and Dad did.
Well, that's a good point. I had no retort for that. 2-2. Lurking Victor Martinez. Broken bat.
Died a hero.
Gonna drop in for a base hit. 1 out single. Well, we got Victor now.
This has just been a series that pitchers have had nothing easy. The offense for both teams has just been battling back and forth, grinding out at bats, trying to get guys over in scoring position. It's been a seesaw games, even though the Tigers had a kind of a blowout in the first game. Last night's game went 11. A lot of runs scored. 4-4 here in the top of the 7th inning in this one.
Don't look now, but Martinez is up to 270. Ball 1 to Victor. Doubled and a walk in this game. So Guaipe now is going to have to maneuver his way through the Martini. Victor and JD.
You love that.
I gotta admit, it's got a nice ring. The 1-0 pitch. 2 balls, no strikes. Victor.
It's just too much like Star Wars to me, you know?
Yeah.
The Jedi, Martini.
Or your favorite drink, the martini. So Rick White's coming out. He's worn a path out there out to the mound.
Well, the pace of the game has been too dang fast for Rick, so he's going to slow everything down, regroup. No activity again on either bullpen. Looks like Annabelle's going to go back out there for the bottom half of the 7th inning, and quite honestly, Brad's going to try to stretch him out a little bit. He will not pitch again in Minnesota, so he's going to get the All-Star break to get that extra rest. Maybe he's going to stretch him out here a little bit more. Hopefully the Tigers can get him a lead right now.
Well, they've got their big guns up. 2-0 on Victor. Cespedes, a broken bat single here in the 7th. 4-4 game. Tigers have 9 hits today. 2-1. Guaipe did not give in there.
Well, he locked up Victor a little bit. That ball he thought might be a fastball up and in, and then it just had the late break. Don't throw it again. Not to this guy.
Runner goes, and a ground ball, base hit right field. Cespedes stopped at second. Now he'll get the third. And the Tigers in business now. 1st and 3rd, 1 out.
Victor continues to hit right there. Cano kind of going towards second base, and the hole opened up, but Victor was able to pull the ball. Fastball up and away, but he pulls it through the right side. And Cespedes kind of deked a little bit by Brad Miller, the shortstop. Had to pick up the ball, and once he did, he realized he could scamper over to third base. And see him hesitate there, and he went at very good speed. So the Tigers got it cooking here. 1st and 3rd, only 1 out.
Here is JD Martinez. Been on base twice in this game. Single walk for JD, who has now hit safely in 9 straight.
Oh!
No. Down goes Martinez, who's hit by the pitch.
Got his hand too.
Oh my goodness. Kevin ran quickly along with Brad Ausmus, who was holding his breath. I can guarantee you right now.
All Tiger fans are.
That is going to load the bases, but more importantly, Kevin Rand takes a look at J.D. Martinez. That is not a good sound.
That's almost like the sound of the ball coming off his bat. You can see it here in slow motion. Hits his backhand right on top of his throwing fingers. I thought it hit the top of the hand, but that was a great shot for our camera crew to pick that up. That's going to hurt.
JD going to literally shake it off. Just the sound that produced.
Well, again, your hand is gripping the bat, so it's a solid sound. It's almost like it hits the bat.
So now Castellanos with the bases loaded, 1 out. Primo opportunity here for the Tigers to break this 4-4 tie. It'll drop in for a strike. 0-1 on Castellanos. Single to drive in a run in the second, and that makes his hitting streak at 9 in a row. Tigers need a big knock right here.
Yeah, you're not going to get a lot of opportunities from this point on. You got to take advantage of them.
0-2.
Guepe doing his part, getting ahead here, putting the pressure on Nick Castellanos. Now Nick's going to have to battle, protect the plate. Nothing else. He needs to lift the ball to an outfielder. Cespedes got good speed at third base, and they need to somehow get a run in.
Rollins, the lefty, tuning up. Ball high. Nick thought about it, laid off. 1-2. Martinez just continues to hold his fingers down at first base, flexing them, just trying to get some feeling back in there.
There's nothing other than bone. So you just hope that there's no break. That's all. And it is on his throwing fingers.
Lifted foul out of play. It's like Guepe came out in the 6th, faced only 3 batters, but he's got a heap of trouble right now. He's about to throw his 30th pitch. The 1-2. Ooh, he fought that one off in on his hands that time.
Nick doing a good job of staying alive. Those borderline pitches, fighting them off.
Castellanos has 7 RBIs in this series. And he's got a chance to pick up a few more. Again, the 1-2. That's in the air to shallow center field. Ackley coming over. Catch is made. Cespedes tags. Throw is cut off to third base and out there. Victor trying to move up, and he's thrown out at third.
Well, the run scores. Cespedes crossed home before the out was committed at third base.
So Castellanos gets his 2nd RBI of this game. Cespedes comes in to score. breaking the tie, and the Tigers lead by 1. Bottom of the 7th inning, Tigers have a 5-4 lead now. And this July, baseball's best players gather in Cincinnati for the Midsummer Classic. Home field advantage for the World Series is on the line. Our coverage of the 2015 Major League Baseball All-Star Game begins July 14th at 7 Eastern on Fox and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. All right, Sanchez operating with a 1-run lead now. And Robinson Cano looks at ball 1.
And we talked about Annabelle going out there. Pitch count over 100 now. And there is some activity. Got a left-hander. Looks like Albuquerque. But be a great inning for him to get through. An easy inning. Tigers did their part in getting him a lead.
Hardy and Albuquerque warming up. Here's the 2-0. Sprayed foul, 2-1 on Robinson Cano. Cano with a single and 3 at-bats. He'll be followed by Cruz and Smith. 3, 4, and 5 in the Seattle lineup. 5-4 Detroit. Tigers have doubled up the hits, 10-5 against Seattle. Now the 2-1. .117, the highest in the pitch count for Sanchez this year. He's done it twice, including his last start. Swing and a miss. He got Cano out of the strike zone.
A good sequence for Anibal Sanchez there. He pretty much wanted to stay with the fastball to Cano. He threw 2 outside and then ran 1 up and in. He got Robbie to swing out of the zone there. Important first out of the inning.
Nelson Cruz trying to keep him in the ballpark. 21 home runs this year. Batting average of 300. Pujols 26 homers, JD 24, Trout 22, Cruz 21. Those are your leaders in the American League. Ball high, 1-2.
Annabelle throwing a lot of fastballs this inning. You've got to be careful that he doesn't leave one out over the plate, though. The fastball are going to go away. And now when he's ahead in the count, he has a chance to maybe see if Cruz will chase the ball out of the zone.
He wouldn't. It goes all the way to the backstop.
Yeah, a little too far out of the zone.
Didn't quite sell that one, did he? Sanchez came into this game 8th in the American League in innings pitched. So, you know, we mentioned he's gone into 7 innings in 7 straight starts. He is into the 7th here. Now the 2-2. Ooh, 3-2.
Annabelle wanted that one. And that's a pitcher's pitch, but Rob Drake does not think it's a strike.
Foul away.
You can almost sense that Annabelle's a little more aggressive here. He's got 1 run to work with. And it does change your mindset slightly. You don't have to be perfect. You know that you have a little breathing room. You can be a little more aggressive. He's coming right after the hitters of fastballs.
Walked him. Second walk of the game for Cruz. Here comes Brad. It's going to be it. 113 for Sanchez, 113 pitches.
You know, 6 strikeouts, 5 walks for Annabelle. A lot of pitches thrown.
So Seth Smith coming up with the man on. Sanchez is out. Here comes Blaine Hardy. Get you up to date on a game summary. The Tigers currently leading Seattle 5-4. Offense in this series, man, there's been a bunch of it. 14 combined home runs, which ties a Safeco record in this series. Marte, big day, is his first day as a starter here for the Tigers. Sanchez, his last 15, no hits, no runs. And he really settled in nicely, but he'll need some help now.
And there's the numbers for Blaine Hardy in his 38th game. He needs another hold.
Franklin Gutierrez will pinch hit for Seth Smith. So Seattle counters the move of Blaine Hardy coming in. Against Seattle without Lloyd McClendon, who's back home for a family matter. His sister passed away, and Trent Jewett taking over He's the acting manager for this series. There's a strike on Gutierrez. 0-2. Gutierrez started in the game last night, finished with 2 hits, including a homer. Had a big single in the 11th, setting up the game-winning run. Rolled toward third base, foul, just outside of the bag.
Blaine Hardy comes into the game throwing strikes. You gotta like a guy for doing that. Could use a double play ball here.
One and two. Trumbo on deck.
Tigers playing Gutierrez straight up all the way around, infield and outfield.
One out walk to Nelson Cruz signaled the end for Anibal Sanchez. Now he's turned it over to Blaine Hardy. Fouled away. 2-2. The count stays on Gutierrez. More trouble on deck. Not a big lead by Cruz. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Great job right there by Blaine Hardy, picking up the second out of the inning. Breaking ball, just handcuffs Gutierrez. See how he got his hand on top of that breaking ball. That's all that Brad Ausmus wanted out of him. Gets the one out. Good job.
So Hardy will depart. Trumbo coming up. We're still in the 7th. Here comes Albuquerque. Here's the upcoming matchup presented by the Michigan Office of Highway Safety Planning. Tomorrow the Tigers will be in Minneapolis to take on the Twins. There's your pitching matchup.
Yeah, David Price making his last start prior to going to his 5th All-Star game.
Meanwhile, Mr. Albuquerque will take over.
Al pitched 2 innings in yesterday's game. Brad going to him again here. He needs an out and maybe more.
1.26 ERA since the start of May. Albuquerque leaves it up 1 ball to no strikes on Mark Trumbo. 5-4 Tigers have the lead on the sac fly by Castellanos in the top of this inning. One and one. Couple of hits for Trumbo, single double. Cespedes ran down a ball that looked like might be his 3rd hit. Down in left field, made a nice play on him in the 5th inning.
Got a great read on that ball. Tremendous jump. Great route.
The 1-1. Line drive to left, base hit. Another hit for Trumbo. And stopping in second is Cruz. That'll put 2 men on.
And Mark Trumbo having a big day for the Mariners. Picks up his 3rd hit of the game. Let's look at the pitch here. And that's usually hit pretty hard.
Here is Dustin Ackley. Only the 6th hit in this game for Seattle. Strike 1 to Ackley. Tigers pitching has 7 strikeouts, but 5 walks in this game.
Yeah, that's not typical of Anibal. And that really does affect your pitch count.
High again, 2-1 on Ackley.
Al flying open a little bit here, and it could be a case where he's a little tired, a little fatigued. His lower body's kind of getting out ahead of his upper body.
Three and one. Well, you mentioned Albuquerque last night, went 2 innings. And he retired all 6, 3 of them via the strikeout.
Yeah, did a great job giving the Tigers a chance and extending the ball game.
Swing and a miss. Sanchez liking that last pitch.
Kind of a helpless feeling as a starter. Once you leave the game, your runners may or may not be on. In this case, Anibal has got one. Nelson Cruz at second base was a walk, his last hitter.
Fly ball in the air to left field. Should end the inning. Cespedes under it to retire the side. Mariners threaten, do not score. They lead 2, and we go to the 8th. The participants in the home run derby, and here they are.
Well, I can tell you who the crowd's going to favor, and that'd be Todd Frazier, the hometown boy. That guy.
Right there. Is that your pick?
Well, that's who they're going to cheer the most for.
Who you got of these guys?
Man, it's hard not to think Prince could hit a whole pile. Anthony Rizzo, strong dude. But the old-timer, Albert, he might get a few there too, because all I can say is this should be the all-time number high. I mean, you got juice balls in a tiny little bandbox of a ballpark. And if it doesn't rain and it's hot and sticky, you could see a few balls hit into the river.
No J.D. Martinez on that list. David Rollins will take over now for Seattle. And he will face McCann here in the 8th. Then Marte, and then Romine. Tigers have 5 runs, 10 hits. Seattle 4 runs, 6 hits.
Rollins threw 1 inning in Monday's game.
McCann knocked into a double play in his last at bat. He is 0 for 3. Here's the 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike now on James McCann. They've gone with their starter Happ, and then Lowe, and then Guipe, and now Rollins. One and 2. Rollins was reinstated from the restricted list on the 4th of July following a suspension for violation of Major League Baseball's Joint Drug Prevention and Treatment Program. Rule 5 pick from the Houston Astros. Ground ball, base hit the other way. Nicely done by McCann, a 2-strike hit.
Leadoff hit for the Tigers, and James McCann finally picks up his first hit of the game. And here's the Tigers' new bombs away guy at first base, Jeffrey Marte.
Double and a homer in this game in his first big league start. Here is a situation which I guess at times would call for a bunt, but I'm not sure Marte, that's part of his game.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it. Neither are the Mariners right now. Seager playing well back at third base.
Ball 1. That is the 11th Tigers hit, that McCann single, which keeps his hitting streak alive. It's 6 in a row now for James. Here's the 1-0. Ground ball to third. This should be 2, 5, 4, 3. Got him at first base. Boy, Marte, man, he gets down the line. He can run a little bit. Made it close.
Well, that's why the Mariners kept Seager deep. You can see Marte hustling down the line. Wow, I'd like to take slow motion. Look at that. Here's live speed. You can see him getting down the line, digging it out.
No challenge from Ausmus. So with 2 outs, here is Romine. For 3 today for Romine. Ball 1. Couple of strikeouts and a line out for Romine. Hit the ball hard his last time up. Leaping play by Robinson Cano. Robin. And the 1-1. One and two on Romine. Soria tuning up in the Detroit bullpen.
Yeah, Brad may be bringing him in sometime in the 8th inning.
Romine down on strikes for the third time in this game. He's 0 for 4. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th in Seattle.
Years to strike out, then after a base hit, Al Albuquerque gets a little fly ball to left field. Anibal Sanchez happy, still has the win intact, and Albuquerque back on the mound for the bottom of the 8th.
And it's going to be the number 8 hitter to start things off, Brad Miller for Seattle. 5 runs, 11 Tigers hits, 4 runs and 6 hits for the M's. There's a strike call. We have a defensive change. Marte's out of the game, and Mark Krause is in now at first. Here's the 0-1. 0-2 on Brad Miller.
Krause had a few opportunities at first base in last night's game, and probably he's had more reps over there at first base. That's why Brad is making this move right now.
Yeah, no doubt. Marte was a third baseman in the minor leagues. Krause homered in his first at bat as a Tiger last night. Swing and a miss. Struck him out.
Important first out again. That first out of the inning. Albuquerque doing a good job. A great slider right here. Let's watch this last pitch. Just buries it down in the zone. And he picks up his first strikeout.
Zunino will pinch hit for Sucre. And while his batting average is low, he does have pop. He has 9 home runs. One for 9 in the series. Zunino caught the first 2 in this 3-game series.
Oh!
Hit him with the pitch. Got him right in the back. Now the tying run's on.
Well, that's a slider, and I can't tell you how much of a backup slider that is. Literally in the back.
Drilled him right in the Z. Now Logan Morrison. Morrison is 0 for 2. Rolled foul, 0-1.
You up for a double play ball here, Mario?
I'm up for a double play ball big time right here. Because you got Seager, Cano, Cruz, they're lurking. Ball inside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Morrison has hit into 5 double plays this year. 1 on, 1 out. Ball high, 2-1.
The way Al Albuquerque is flying open right now, it's going to be hard for him to command the outside part of the plate. He does a little bit better job on the glove side, which would be in on a left-hander. He's got to keep that front shoulder closed a little bit longer. Try to get his energy going towards the plate more. A lot better job right there.
2-2.
See what McCann wants to do here. You're looking in, maybe getting a sign from the dugout. Slider, fastball away. And go back outside.
Soft line drive, caught, quick throw, and a double play.
Not the way you wanted it, but we'll take it.
Another outstanding call, Mr. Morris. Twin killing ends the inning. No runs, hit batter, nobody left. Let's go to the 9th.
All right, Trev, hopefully the Tigers can find a way to hold on to win this thing because, as you know, winning equals grinning. I'll be in the clubhouse after the game talking to the guys, including a conversation with Jeffrey Marte. He'll be smiling anyways after his breakout performance here this afternoon. Show you all the highlights and get you set up for that big series coming up in Minneapolis with Trev, Simo, and Rod in the Coliseum studio after the game for Tigers Live. Right now, back upstairs to Jack and Mario.
All right, thanks, Mick. Winning equals grinning.
Gotta love it. Getaway day especially.
Man. Mickey York hasn't stopped working. Coming up with that gem. Nicely done. Well, here is Iglesias to lead it off in the ninth. It is a one-run game.
I mean, losing equals booing.
We'll figure something out for losing. Iglesias a double, a single, and a walk. Mike Zunino stays in the game to catch.
Well, Jose's had a pretty good day. On base all 3 times, couple hits.
1-2. When you have a guy in the 9 slot in your lineup that is top 5 in hitting, sometimes people ask, well, why not move him up in the lineup? To which Brad Ausmus has said, well, maybe he's batting .320 because he's hitting 9. And why mess with him? The 1-2. Pulled on the ground to short. On the backhand there, Miller has to get rid of it quickly, and he is out at first.
Well, a lot of times it's not just that, but you look at National League, and some managers have put their pitchers in the 8th spot. As we look at Brad Miller, making a nice play and a strong throw. Got Morrison over there stretching all the way to the moon, so he's able to catch everything. But a good contact hitter with decent speed, so you got a guy that's basically like a leadoff man down at the bottom of the line.
Right. And he's been a really good one. There is Soria still warming up in the Detroit bullpen. They did not need to bring him in the 8th.
Well, he should be fresh.
Popped up. Is there room? Zunino does not have room. 0-2. Well, no matter what the score is when we get to the bottom of the 9th, it's going to be Seager, Cano, and Cruz.
Yeah, those are the 3 big bats in the Mariner lineup.
Rajay spoils another one back in the seats. 26,488 the attendance on a sun-splashed afternoon in Seattle. And one of the more gorgeous venues in Major League Baseball, Safeco Field. One and two.
Sun splashed. I kind of like that.
Like it?
Yeah, sun splashed.
It's not as good as winning equals grinning, but it's up there.
They're both appropriate for today's game so far.
2-2.
Boy, what a big insurance run it would be if the Tigers put another one on the board here.
Here goes the bat. Heads up. Right behind the Tiger dugout. Two gone.
Everybody escaped damage there.
That's good news. Now Cespedes, he can get you that insurance run. Sigurd scored a run in the 7th, which right now remains the difference. Strike call. Yoenis at 292 with 12 home runs. Up and in. In on his hands that time.
pounding it up and in. That's a good spot if you're trying to pitch Cespedes. He's got that long swing, power swing. And you can tie him up inside.
Rollins trying to get that final out, get this thing to the bottom of the ninth. Here's the 1-2. Rollins came on in the 8th inning, got a double play ball. He's retired 2 here in the 9th. Victor waiting on deck. Swing and a miss, got him to chase. Rollins strikes him out. Here comes Soria, and we go to the bottom of the 9th. Soria coming out for the Tigers to try and record a save, a one-run save. Here are the 3 guys he will face and what they have done against him. Interestingly enough, Robinson Cano is 0 for 10 against Soria.
Well, he's got the heart of the Mariner lineup to get out. He needs 3 outs. There's the numbers for Joaquin this year. Tiger defensively, they made a few changes. Kinsler's in at second base. Anthony Gose goes out to center field. Romine shifts over to third base. And Soria, a new pitcher.
Well, here is Seager to start things off. 2, 3, and 4 in the Seattle lineup. 1-run game. Double and 4 at bats for Seager, and he looks at ball 1 to get things kicked off here in the bottom of the 9th. Albuquerque went 1 1/3 and gives the baseball now to Soria.
Well, again, the bullpen doing a great job now getting it to the closer. And Soria coming in to ask to get 3 outs. Try to preserve the win. Anibal Sanchez still in line to get that win.
Swing and a miss. That was not a good-looking swing by Seager.
No, he took something off, and then that's a great changeup there, because when you see a hitter that's fooled that much, and you saw the movement on that changeup just sinking down and away.
Lifted toward left, slicing away. Cespedes, good jump again. He'll run it down. Nuez gets good jumps on baseball.
Yeah, that's what speed do right there. He ran it down, literally ran it down. That ball was slicing away from him, and he got a great jump, a great read. you know, that's just part of knowing your position. Yoenis has been roaming left field for quite some time now, and it seems like he's getting better and better.
If he doesn't get to that ball, it's a double, and all of a sudden we got big trouble because here comes Robinson Cano. 1 out, base is empty.
And you saw the numbers. Soria has done a great job in his career against Cano.
You always wonder how a guy who has been so accomplished like Cano, who has 6 consecutive years of over 300, can struggle so mightily against one guy. And yes, it's a small sample size.
Yeah, it is. And all I can say is that Soria is a guy that changes speed so well. Never really throwing the same pitch, the same speed. And one thing about all great hitters is they have the ability to time you. And when you're always changing speeds, it's harder for them to do that. 2 quick strikes. That's another reason.
Cano today is 1 for 4. Swing and miss, and Robinson Cano is now 0 for 11 against Soria. 2 outs.
Well, let's take a look at our bell tire pitch by pitch in this last sequence to Cano, I mean. Fastball up and away. Then he just dots the fastball on the outer half, throws the changeup down in the zone. Cano way out in front, gets a strikeout, 2nd out of the inning.
That is 9 strikeouts for Tigers pitching in this game. 1 more out to get, and it's Nelson Cruz, the all-star DH. Ball 1. Couple of walks in each of his last 2 at-bats for Cruz. One ball, 1 strike. With a mighty hack, and it's 1-2.
He wasn't looking to drive the ball the other way on that pitch, was he?
Negative.
And go with the breaking ball.
The toughest of saves for closers, the 1-run save. Sanchez, or I should say Soria rather, is trying to get his 19th and save it for Sanchez. Cruz has been really good late. And now Joaquin will step off. And the 2-2. Outside, 3-2 now on Cruz. Franklin Gutierrez waiting on deck if Cruz were to walk again. Just end it right here. Here it is. He walked. So Cruz keeps it going. He's walked in his last 3 at bats now. Tying run on with 2 outs. Here's Gutierrez.
Chris Taylor going to come in and run for Nelson Cruz at first base.
Taylor represents the tying run, more speed down there, better shot of scoring on an extra base hit. And Franklin has a home run against Soria in his career, but is 1 for 8. Ball 1. Five, 4 Tigers. We're in the bottom of the 9th. 1 on, 2 out. Gutierrez did not start. He came on a pinch hit in the 7th and struck out against Blaine Hardy.
Hardy threw him a great breaking ball that came down and in to Gutierrez. Or Soria coming from the other side.
2-0.
Trying to be a little too fine in this at bat. And he does represent the go-ahead run, so be careful, but you still got to command your pitches in the zone.
Oh, he missed. 3 balls, no strikes.
Close pitch, but it was away. Take a look at it again and see it's off the plate a couple inches. Got to come back and get him. You don't want that runner to advance to second base.
Boston, ball 4. Soria got the first 2 men, and he has walked Cruz and now Gutierrez. So Taylor, the pinch runner, moves to second. He represents the tying run. Here comes Jonesy. Mark Trumbo will be the hitter. Trumbo is 1 for 5 in his career against Soria.
He's had a good day at the plate, though. He's 3 for 4. And no real surprise what this conversation's all about. He's just giving Joaquin Soria a breather. Joaquin very aware of the situation. Just needs to get an out.
So Mark Trumbo is up there with the go-ahead or the tying run at second base, the go-ahead / winning run at first base. 3 out of 4 in this game, singles twice and a double plus 2 runs scored. A 2-out rally here for Seattle in the 9th. And Trumbo looks at ball 1. What was that?
That was tough right there. You need to get ahead the first pitch, and I think it was a pitcher's pitch, but that's a good breaking ball. Fox track says it's a strike.
Crowd has suddenly come alive now. Here's the 1-0. Trumbo takes a strike. Fastball that time from Soria. Time called. Trumbo steps out. Swing and a miss. Actually got a piece of it to stay alive, and it got McCann as well. He was way out of that front foot.
That's just a big, slow breaking ball there. And again, Trumbo way out in front of that pitch. Does a good job just to foul it. But 2 strikes now. Soria needs just to put him away. See if he'll chase.
Wouldn't chase. 2-2. Ackley waiting on deck. Soria taking too long, and now McCann will stroll out to the mound. A critical pitch here. They'll just verbally decide what to throw.
Yeah, McCann went through and flashed through a whole bunch of signs and nothing. No reaction from Soria, so he just calls timeout and says, what do you want to throw here?
Swing and a miss to strike him out, and that's the ball game. Mariners made it interesting with a couple of walks with 2 outs, but the Tigers hold on to win 5-4 over Seattle. Joakim Soria picks up 2 strikeouts and the save here in the 9th, striking out Trumbo. Well, Sanchez will get the win.
Let's look at the last pitch. I think it's a changeup, just sinks down and in and way out of the zone, but Trumbo couldn't lay off. He's trying to win the game, and the Tigers end up winning the game instead.
5-4 victory for Detroit. They take 2 out of 3 here in Seattle.